join. And of course, this is Friday morning. So, and this is getting shared in different countries, in different time zones, so different devotees from different places. They will join at their convenient time. And some of them, they already requested to be recorded. Hare Krishna. So good to see you. And I'm going to share the link here in the Zoom session. If in case you would like to follow up on this session, you could always do this. This is a YouTube live, and even on YouTube live, all those who have joined us, my Dandavat pranams. Hare Krishna. Great. Hare Krishna. So before we begin, let's have the darshan of the deities. I'm going to share the screen again, just to take the blessings. Hare Krishna. So these are the lordships of London Temple. We call Bhakti Vedanta Manor, and we can pray to them. And we're going to do a quick pray in Sanskrit. And feel free if anyone would like to join. These are the standard Hare Krishna movement prayers which we do before we start any sessions, right? And we will try to keep the session in English. And it's not a lecture, which we usually go on YouTube, we will listen one way. This is a discussion. So feel free to unmute yourself, and at any time, feel free to send a message in the chat now and then. Hare Krishna. I seek the blessings of all the Vaishnavas who are there in the presence. Thank you so very much. Now, so I'm going to share a slide now. And as I was saying, these are the prayers we do whenever we begin any session. So feel free to join me. And after that, we shall begin the session. So at the beginning of every section, we will share and recite these Sanskrit verses. These verses, if you see, they are the combination of few lines. Each of them, they mean something. Even if you won't understand them now, we will have another session just for the Mangala Charan. So Mangala Charan is, Mangala is auspicious, and Charan is the lotus feet of the Lord. So before we begin any sessions, we just seek the blessings and the guidance from the Guru and Gauranga, the Lordship. And when we do the very first two lines, then these are attributed to our own Guru. So you can close your eyes, fold your hands, bow down your head, and submit it to your own Guru, right? So we start from there, and then we shall begin Bhagavad Gita. Oh. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnana-jana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Yuda Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatha Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitam Sha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpautirubhyacha Kirpao Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachati Deshitarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Srila
Jai.
Guru Maharaj ki
Jai.
Jai, Jai Shri Radhe Shyam. Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for your presence. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve. And as I was saying in the beginning, the sessions are getting on YouTube. So this is just for the data protection. I have shared the link here in the Zoom as well. If any one of you would like to receive it back again at any point. These sessions going to happen weekly, Krishna willing. And we will start on the timing given in the messages. If we say Saudi time, always start at 10 and finish at 11. UK, couple of hours behind, so 8 to 9. And if you go to India, then 2.5 hours ahead. So from 12:30 to 1:30. So whichever region you are, please mind the time. And there's a WhatsApp group we call Bhakti Vriksha Global. It's there as well. So I know some of the devotees who come to our regular classes on Saturdays, they are also here. So my Danvat pranams to all of you. Thanks for your presence. Now, this is the first time we are going to start Bhagavad Gita here in Sanatan Dharma, what we call Saudi Arabia as Sanatan Dharma. All the names are on the name of the Lord. So whenever we take the name of the country, also we take the name of the Lord. My name is VP Govinda Das. Feel free to call me Govinda or VP Govinda as you prefer. We shall start the sessions now. In the session, so I'm going to share the website where we have the link to the Bhagavad Gita we will follow, because there are around 400 different variations of Bhagavad Gita. So I'm just going to share the link in the chat. This is the Bhagavad Gita as it is. And now I'm going to share the website here. And hopefully everyone could see that. Yeah, thank you for the confirmation. So this Bhagavad Gita as it is by Srila Prabhupada Ji. So if you take a very quick look, very first is setting the scenes. So considering this is the first session, we will start from setting the scenes, which is the background, where and how Bhagavad Gita happened. So maybe some of you are not aware or might not be aware. So it's really good to always take a step back to see the holistic view. And that's what we are going to see in setting this scene. But after that, we will have a quick preface, a bit intro, and then we will start from chapter 1. Now from chapter 1, and I'm going to quickly show you, if you're going to go and visit this website, which I will strongly recommend, we do have Bhagavad Gita as it is. So if you don't have your own copy, it's always recommended to have your own copy. But if you would like to spend time online, then this website is always there for you. Now, when you will open, it will look like this. But what you can do, you can go to text 1, which is a verse 1. So when we say 1.1, that's Bhagavad Gita BG, chapter 1, text 1, which is Shloka 1. On the right hand side, we see default view. And in this default view, if you click, we have shown advanced view. What we can do, Either we stay in the default view where we just see one verse, and at the bottom we will see on the left previous and on the right next. So we can go previous or we can go next. So if I say next, we will go to the next verse. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, verse 2. We can do that, right? Or if you go from default view, we select show in advanced view. Then we will see the whole chapter. So if you go on the top, we will see chapter 1, the name of the chapter 1, which is observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And then we see the we have first Devanagari. Because this is tick, you will see what will happen if I will untick it. I will say untick, and the Devanagari Lipi, which is Hindi and Sanskrit, that will disappear. If you would like to read it, you will click it back and we can see Dhritarashtra Uvacha. That's a Sanskrit, but written in Devanagari, which is very similar to Hindi. But after that, we do have Sanskrit written in English. So this is for all those devotees who might not able to read the Devanagari Lipi, but most of the time English is widely accepted. So we can read the Sanskrit verses there, and we will read the Sanskrit verses. We will recite the Sanskrit verses. After that, we have synonyms, which is a great contribution. Well, one of the great contributions from Srila Prabhupada ji. Somebody like myself, if we don't know the Sanskrit words, then Prabhupada ji has done such a hard work that he has given word-to-word translation of Sanskrit words. So if you see on the top, Dhritarashtra Uvacha, here you will see Dhritarashtra Uvacha, then Dhritarashtra Uvacha, and then King Dhritarashtra said. So what does that word means? So even if somebody doesn't know anything in Sanskrit, if we know English or Hindi, and of course, this is just the English website. There are websites in a lot of different translations. So if whether we are international or whether we are regional within India, whichever language we are in, I mean, including Arabic itself, we do have the translations of this Bhagavad Gita, which we will refer. So we will see that as well, word-to-word translation, so we can understand each and every word of the shloka. And after that, we have the translation. Translation is the literal translation of the verse from Sanskrit to English. So again, because this is English Bhagavad Gita, when you will have Hindi Bhagavad Gita, you will have Sanskrit to Hindi translation. And if you have Kannada, Tamil, Telugu, French, German, Russian, Arabic, then you have Sanskrit to that particular language translation. That's a literal translation. But after that, we have the purport. Purports are what we understand by this. So as I said, translation is just a literal meaning. And most of the time, whichever Bhagavad Gita you will pick from anywhere, the translation will remain same. Definitely the shloka will remain same because this is Sanskrit. Doesn't really matter which school of thought from Vedic culture, because there are many school of thoughts, Advaita, Dvaita, Vashishta, Madhava. Wherever we go, we pick the Bhagavad Gita, Sanskrit verse will remain exactly the same. Translation, which will be very similar. But what could be different is the purport. Who has explained it, how the person has explained it, and how that particular verse could be interpreted to reflect in our day-to-day life. Because remember, the whole point of Bhagavad Gita is that we are going to implement, we are going to learn the knowledge, and we are going to implement that in our life, in our day-to-day life. We need to implement the wisdom here. We are not here just to recite the verses, learn the verses, and go out in the market and impress someone that I can recite Sanskrit verses now. That's not the idea. If we can do that, that's the side effect, which is a good, maybe, if that will help us. But the main idea is the wisdom, the Vedic wisdom we learn from our Shastras, we implement in our life. And when we will implement in our life, then it will be evident. When I say evident, it will be manifested in our day-to-day life. We don't have to tell others, others will realize. is like somebody who is very heavyweight. And if the person will start doing yoga, walking, cycling, going out in the gym, if the person will do that, maybe a month later, a couple of months later, the person will start losing weight. And the person will not have to tell others that I'm doing something. Others will realize. So all the hard work will be manifested physically. But when we read Bhagavad Gita, it will not only be physically what we eat, but also what we think, how we interact, how we speak, what we listen. Everything will change, right? Hopefully for good, because we are going to. So this is the spiritual path where we have begun today. So again, I would like to congratulate each and every one of you to be here today, because there could be many other things we could do on Friday morning, but because you have decided to join Bhagavad Gita sessions, that means that you are already very auspicious. Right? Now, we will. So this link I have shared with you in the Zoom. So we have it with you. We will come back to this, but I will share a presentation with you. A presentation which has been put together by a devotee. And this is the beauty of devotee congregations, that we work together. So one of us will put together and others will cherish all that. So Hare Krishna to everyone who has joined. I will share the presentation and we will start from what we say, setting the scenes. So in Bhagavad Gita, so as I said, Bhagavad Gita as it is by Srila Prabhupada Ji, what do we have there? Very first thing is setting the scene. Because remember, Prabhupada Ji did the translation in India, but when he went to West, then he started preaching to the Westerners, and they didn't have any clue. And unfortunately, even now, a lot of our youngsters, they don't have any clue. To the extent that who are the Pandavas, who are the Kauravas, who is Lord Krishna, who is Lord Rama, our youngsters, they don't know about it. And maybe we do know about it, but it's always good to make it clear to us. So as I said, we are going to refer Bhagavad Gita as it is, which is based on the teachings of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Prabhupada Ji is the founder Acharya of the International Society of Krishna Consciousness. In short, we refer as ISKCON temples around the world, also referred as Hare Krishna movement. So Prabhupada Ji in his old age has done a great work for us, and that's what we are going to refer for our studies. And Prabhupada Ji always said that religion is not armchair religion, which meant it's not one of those where we will just sit on the chair and we will discuss. It's very practical. So again, remember how we will know the sessions we are attending every week, because these sessions are going to be weekly. How do we know that these sessions are making impact on our life? Our day-to-day life will change. Not drastically, gradually, right? It could be a small thought. Maybe we used to get 100 thoughts every day, and all of them were material thoughts. Now, even if one thought will become spiritual, then that's a progress. That's a progress. Hence, remember, this is a spiritual path, is a gradual path. And we will see Krishna tells to Arjun in the Bhagavad Gita that even a small step taken on this spiritual path never diminishes, never go away. It will always be with you. So if we take multiple, and as we say, if it's a long journey of 1,000 steps, that journey also begins with one small step. And that's what we are doing today. So one must study Bhagavad Gita inside out, and that will happen, govern our external activities. So remember, we are going to change our internal thoughts, but that's going to get manifested outside, right? People can't see what we are thinking inside. People, materially, people usually think of outside, right? If you think about it, another Prabhuji said that in the Loi Bazaar. So Loi Bazaar is the market where we get the clothes. The Prabhuji said, from Loi Bazaar, it's very easy. In 200 rupees, you can become a devotee externally. because you can buy the dhoti, you can buy the chandan, you can buy the kurta, you wear it, and everybody will think you are a devotee. But internally, so externally, it only takes 200 rupees. But internally, it takes ages. It takes persistent deliberation, again, every day on a regular basis, right? And a lot of time we say our kids, because well, it happened a lot of time in the Guru, Sadhu, and Shastras Association. I've been delivering sessions for many years now. And it happens quite often that the parents come to me and say, could you please take care of our kids? We are okay. But the point is, if the parents will change, the kids will change automatically. Isn't it true? As a child learns the language of the parents, parents might not even have to teach. The kids will automatically learn. So the whole point is that the parents will get Krishna conscious knowledge and wisdom, the kids will automatically get it, right? So one must understand the flow of philosophy and not in isolation. So what that means, that a lot of people, they just pick the Bhagavad Gita and then pick any words and try to understand that. We can do that, but only when we have read the whole Bhagavad Gita, right? If you have read the whole English book, or all Hindi book, all science book, then we can pick the chapter we want to and we can understand. But in the beginning, we have to go step by step to understand the flow. And hence, that's what we are going to do, right? So that's what we are going to do. One of the main thing to remember, that who is speaking in Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is not a novel. Bhagavad Gita is not written by an ordinary person. Bhagavad Gita has been written, that has been compiled by Ved Vyasa. And if we will read Srimad Bhagavatam, we will see 42 incarnations of Lord, and Ved Vyasji is one of them. So Ved Vyasji, who is the partial incarnation of Lord Krishna, has compiled Bhagavad Gita, right? But who is speaking in Bhagavad Gita? Lord Krishna himself. What could be better than that? Could anything be better than that? Sometimes people say, oh, I think, I believe. But what are I? What we think, our mind, our senses are so imperfect. Can we trust ourselves? Our knowledge keeps changes, isn't it? Somebody who is in class 5 is only wise enough to be in class 5. But when class 5 child moves to class 10, then that person will say, oh, class 5 doesn't know anything. Because of course, class 10 person have already know class 6, 7, 8, and 10. Yes. So this is the whole idea. We always need to remember that who is speaking, right? If we are out there and we will see a layman person, anyone who we meet on the street saying something to us, we might not consider it very important. But what if the company we work for, the principal of the school we go to, if that person will come to us and speak to us, we will take it very seriously, isn't it? So similarly, when we are here, we need to take it very seriously, that Bhagavad Gita, the words of Bhagavad Gita, they are coming from the Lord himself. There can't be anything superior than that. When the Lord himself is saying something, the only thing after that could be the interpretation, because sometimes we might not understand. Hence, we have our acharyas, we have our Siksha gurus, we have the senior Vaishnavas with us, and we go to them and we say, could you please explain these words of Lord Krishna, because we don't understand it. And this happens again and again to us, which is okay, but we do need to remember. So what we will do, it says that, well, the very first thing, Adi Shankaracharya ji described Gita as the river of nectar. Now, what is nectar? There is another, we do have another presentation, maybe we will do it at some point, Gita Mahatma, the beauty of Gita. And if we will do Vishnu Sahasranam, Gita Mahatma usually comes as a part of that at the end as well. Gita Mahatma is the glorification of Gita. Why Gita is so great? What do we get out of Gita? But in the essence, if we take the words of Adi Shankaracharya ji, what he is saying, Gita is a river of nectar, and river keeps flowing. And hence we should read Gita every day. And like the water comes and goes and cleanse ourselves, that's what Gita will do. Gita will take all the material doubts out of our mind. And hopefully we will become more wise. And we will see the history of Mahabharata, a lot and a lot of stories, which is going to come into the next slide. And then Arjun's denial of war. So why Gita started? What was the purpose of Gita? Why did Krishna set so many verses? And to whom? Because of Arjun. So in one way, we should be thankful to Arjun, because Arjun had those questions for us. Well, on behalf of us, he asked those questions. To whom? To Arjun, to Krishna, and Krishna provided the answers. Not only for Arjun, for us, because we will see another slide we have where the reasons Arjun said, I don't want to fight. Those reasons are our reasons, and we will see the children, they give those reasons that I don't want to study. Some kids will say, I don't want to go into sports. Some children will say, I don't want to study hard in the college. Right? And some of the people will be there in the office and say, I don't want to study. I don't want to work hard in the office. Right? And we will see this is what Arjun said to Krishna as well. 5,500 years back, what Krishna replied back to Arjun. Those answers, after 5,500 years back, they are still valid to us. Hence, we are reading Bhagavad Gita, right? Because these are the fundamentals. It's like a building. In the building, the most important thing is the foundation, right? We have a ground floor. Underneath the ground floor, we have the foundation. The stronger foundation, the taller building can go. But without the foundation, there is a risk that that tall building can fall anytime. So this is the mistake we do in our life. We work very hard to get material success. We will go to the very great university. We will go to the very nice office. We will work hard and we will become a great, great professional. But because the spiritual foundation is missing, we can fall down anytime. Maybe we will fall into corruption. Maybe we'll do a bad decision, which will fall back on us. So any of those things which we don't want to do materially, the reason is that we need to have this spiritual foundation. Once we have the spiritual foundation, then doesn't really matter how tall we go in the material success, it will always be stay with us. So Arjun's denial of war is very important, and we will see first chapter, the reasons Arjun has given. And then from second chapter, the answers Krishna has provided. So Lord speaks Gita out of compassion for living entities, right? So as we said, the reason Krishna has given those words, not because he was chastising Arjun, not that he was shouting at Arjun, not that he was annoyed with Arjun. He had compassion. It's like the father, it's like elder brothers, sisters, who out of compassion will provide guidance to their younger siblings, yeah, or children. And that's the role Lord Krishna has taken. Great. So we will see. So what we're doing here is, so we have Srimad Bhagavad Gita. This is the session of setting the scene, right? A bit of background, if in case we don't know. Even if we know, it's good to revise ourselves, because the very first thing we will do is Bhagavad Gita chapter 1. But if we don't have the background, then we might think why Arjun is there, why he's asking so many questions, and why they are in the middle of a battlefield. So it's great to understand the background. And here is the background. So if you remember that, very first thing that we are, so somebody else recently said to me that you are Sanatani. Now, Hinduism or Hindu is a new word. It's been there for 1,000 years, but this word is not there in our Shastras. The word is Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan is eternal, universal, if we say, right? And Dharma is the religion. And religion is not the religion how we understand, Hindu, Christian, any other religion, because these religions could change. Somebody who is a Hindu today could become Christian. Somebody who's a Christian today could become Hindu or could become Buddhist. This is not a religion. Well, this is a religion, what we understand in today's word. But dharma is not a religion. Dharma is something which never changes. And what doesn't change? Think of as a fire, right? Fire is always hot. And that's the dharma of fire. If you will have fire in India, if you will have fire in Dubai, in Saudi, in London, in America, German, France, Italy, Ukraine, Russia, anywhere you take fire, fire will always be hot. And that's the eternal essence, the property of fire, to be hot. Hence, the dharma of fire is hot. Similarly, if we take ice, ice is always wet, right? Whether it's cold, whether it's hot, but ice is always wet. The property of ice, property of water is always that it's wet. Doesn't really matter who touches it. It's not that I am not a learned person, I'm from a different religion, I speak different language. Whoever will touch water will get wet. And that's the dharma. So what is our dharma? We are human being, right? We are actually spiritual being having material experiences. People think it otherwise. People think we are material beings having a spiritual experience, which you might be experiencing now. But we will read Bhagavad Gita, and the very first knowledge which Krishna is going to give to Arjun is Atma Jnana. Jnana, knowledge. Atma, the soul. So Atma Jnana is the knowledge of the soul. The very first thing Krishna will teach Arjun, that Arjun, you are not this body, you are the Atma. And Atma is eternal and it never changes. Hence, the word Sanatan Dharma, eternal knowledge, right? So, if you will see in Sanatan Dharma, what we can say, Vedic, the reason we call it Vedic culture, because the very first thing in Sanatan Dharma was Veda. Initially, there was only one Veda, but now we have 4 Vedas. And this is the time where we engage with the audience. Anyone knows, whether you can unmute yourself or just write in the chat the 4 Vedas we have, or any one Veda you know. Initially, there was only one Veda. Later on, Ved Vyasa split that into 4 for our convenience, so we can understand things better. And each Veda has different things. So whether somebody will, please, go on. You did unmute yourself. Yes.
Atharveda, Yugveda, and
Yajurveda.
yes. Yajurveda.
Samveda. And Samved.
Yeah, Samveda.
Samveda. Hare Krishna, do you know out of 4, which one is the oldest? Yathur, Yajur, Sam, Rig. Which one is the oldest? Give it a guess. Out of 4.
Rug.
You have 25%.
Rigveda.
Rigveda. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Yes, indeed. It was the Rigveda. There was a time when Vedic culture, there was only one Veda, one Shastra, which was Rigveda. There wasn't anything else. But unfortunately, the way Kali Yuga approached, our Ved Vyasji knew that the humans will not understand Rigveda. So he split Rigveda into 4. Rigveda, Yajurveda, Atveda, and then Samveda. But then he understood that the language in Vedas will be very hard and difficult for the humans. So what did he do? Again, out of compassion for us, he gave us Upanishads. And how many Upanishads are there? Anyone would like to guess in numbers? Upanishads. Upanishads, while you are thinking, I tell you the meaning of Upanishads. Upanishads. Upanishad. Up is near. The word itself, up, is near. And Upanishads are the stories we hear sitting next to our teacher. Yes, please. You got your hand up. Yes, go on.
8.
Sorry.
108.
108. Fantastic. Hari Oh, thank you so much. You're right.
Welcome.
108 Upanishads we have. So these Upanishads, they are the stories which the students learn sitting next to their teachers. Hence, it's called Upanishads. So when we call Upvasa, when we do the fasting, we call Upvasa. So Upvasa means Vasa, to stay, Up, next to the Lord, next to the teacher, which means usually we think Upvasa is when we are not going to eat anything. The reason we don't eat anything, or we try to eat lesser, we try to spend less time in the kitchen, less time preparing food, less time eating food. So we save our time. Hare Krishna. Anand Shivaji, would you like to share something, please? You unmuted yourself, so I thought you would like to share something, which would be great. Hare Krishna, you have unmuted yourself. No worries. Anyone, if you like to share anything, it would be such a pleasure to hear from you. Because as I said, it's not just a lecture one way, it's a discussion. So feel free. And we are going to have a lot more discussions going on. So Upavasa is when we save time from the kitchen and we spend time in spiritual studies, either listening to Krishna's word, reading the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, or just sitting next to the Guru and listening more. That's what we call Upvasa, that I'm going to spend less time in the kitchen, less time eating, and more time in my spiritual progress, because I know spiritual progress is eternal. So think about it. So I'm a chartered engineer registered in London. When I will die, next birth, I will have to start from A, B, C. Right? Same thing with medical professionals, same thing with chartered accountant, right? Doesn't really matter materially how successful you are. Next birth, next material birth, you have to start from A, B, C, D, or Ka, Kha, Ga, Ga, whatever the alphabets are. But spiritually, if you do anything, that will go with you. That will go with you in your next birth. Hence, some people, when they take birth, either they are poor because of their bad karma from previous birth, or they take birth in rich families, they take birth in very educated family, they take birth, if they were past karmas were great, they take birth in a very devotee spiritual family, right? Some of the, so I can see you sitting there, your father is very spiritual, hence you are very spiritual, you got tilak on your forehead, which is great, because
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, because in your previous birth, you did some good karma to be here in this family, that you got such a lovely and supporting parents. But that was from the previous birth. But how your future will be depends on what you are going to do in your present, right? So in your previous class, in your school, you did very well, so you came first. But that doesn't mean that you will come first in your current year. In your next class, you will come first or not. Depends on how will you work now in your current year. Yes. So we had Upanishads, we had Vedas. One Veda is split into 4. Then we had Upanishads, 108 Upanishads. Out of them, 10 Upanishads, and one of the top Upanishad is Shri Isha Upanishad, because Shri Isha Upanishad talks directly about Ishwar, Lord. And there is another series we are doing, which is Saturday tomorrow, and that's on Shri Isha Upanishad. We've been doing for a while now. There are 18 mantras. But after Vedas, Upanishads, Ved Vyasji gave more stories, more engaging stories in the form of Puranas. Anyone knows how many Puranas we have in Sanatan Dharma, in Vedic culture? Yes, thinking. Anyone else? Anyone else would like to give a number, please? How many Puranas we have? How many Puranas we have? Any number anyone would like to give? 18. 18. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes.
18 Puranas.
Very good. Very good. Thank you so much.
Hare
So
Krishna.
we say Hare Krishna. There are 18 major and then there are 18 minor Puranas. There are 18 major Puranas, and from 18 major Puranas, there is one Purana which is called the essence of all the Vedic scriptures, and that's called Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Puran, because it talks about Bhagavan. And the author himself, Ved Vyasji, said that all the scriptures I've written so far, I'm going to give the essence of all those Vedas, Upanishads, and rest of the Puranas in this Puran. And I'm going to call this Bhagavad Puran. And we also call it Bhagavatam. Hence, we will see all over the world these days we have Bhagavatam sessions, right? Because that's the essence of Vedic culture. But apart from Bhagavatam, apart from the Puranas, Vedas, Upanishad, Puranas, we have two more, and we call it Mahakavya. Maha is great, like we have Mahabharat, great battle, Mahabharat. But along with that, we have Mahakavyas, two Mahakavyas. One is Ramayana, and the second one is, I've given the hint. Is there? Thank you so much. Mahabharata. So Mahabharata, Hare Krishna. Ramayana, they are the two Mahakavya, and Mahabharata is one of them. In Mahabharata, and we will see a bit of history about Mahabharata. Hare Krishna. Yes, please. We got a hands up, which is great. Please go on.
Can I say the 18 names of Puranas?
Oh, that will be brilliant. Very auspicious. Yes, please.
Vishnu, Naradya, Padma, Garuda, Varaha, Bhagavata, Matya, Kurma, Linga, Shiva, Skanda, Agni, Brahmanda, Brahma, Vaivata, Markandaya, Vishya, Vamana, Brahma.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Well, as expected, that you belong to very auspicious family, and thanks to your parents that they have brought you up so very well, that we have a devotee among ourselves. You would really cherish the stories of Srimad Bhagavatam. We have devotees like you, Dhruv Maharaj, a similar age like you, and the Prahlad Maharaj, great devotees just like you. And hopefully after Bhagavad Gita, we will do Bhagavatam as well. And the stories you will share. Great. Thank you so much. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. All the blessings for you. Hare Krishna. So in Mahabharata, and as I said, we will see in the next slide, we will see a bit of background in Mahabharata. But in Mahabharata, we have many characters. We will see some of the characters there, how they interacted. But when I said that Ved Vyasji wrote all that, Ved Vyasji compiled. So the Vedas were there, they existed even before. But Ved Vyasji was the one who put them on the paper. But he was not the one who wrote it down. We can see on the slide on the left at the bottom, Ganesha, right? Lord Ganesha. And recently we've been celebrating Ganesha itself. So Lord Ganesha has always been renowned as someone who is the most smartest person. He's very clever and he's very compassionate as well. That's why we call him Vignaharta. He takes all the obstacles from our life. When we pray to Lord Ganesha, most of the time people request him to take obstacles from material life. When devotees fall down at the front of Lord Ganesha, we request take the obstacles on our spiritual path. So we will progress further in a spiritual path. Materially is okay. Materially we will, because Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita that I will take care of you, right? But what Lord Krishna has said that I will take care of what's required by you. I will protect what you have, what needs protection, and I will give you what you need, not what you desire, because sometimes we don't know what we desire, right? Children, even if they go bad throat, they will desire ice cream, a lot of chocolate, and then they will get cold, their teeth will fall down, right? So we don't know what we need to desire, but what we need more than us, our parents know. And Krishna is the supreme father of everyone. So Krishna knows what we need. So Ved Vyasa, he want a writer. He said, I'm going to recite the verses, but I want somebody who could write it, and who could write it very fast. And there was only one person who could do, and that was Lord Ganesha. So Ved Vyasji requested Lord Ganesha, would you mind, please? I'm going to write it down. And Lord Ganesha said, very, very well. That's very, very, very nice. But Ved Vyasji said, I have one request. But actually, Lord Ganesha first said that I have a request. Lord Ganesha said that I will write, but you should not stop. Because if you will stop, then I will have to stop. And I don't want to stop. I'm a great writer. I want to write continuously, right? Because Lord Ganesha got a lot of things to do. A lot of devotees are waiting for him, offering him laddu prasad, modak. He needs to go to different festivals, right? To pray, to give because a lot of prayers happening. He needs to give the benedictions to a lot of people. So he said, I want to come do it very quickly. So Vedyaji, could you please, when you narrate it, don't stop in the middle. I don't want to stop. As soon as I will stop, I will finish and I will go. I will not continue. So Vedyaji said, okay, I understood. I will follow. But then he said, I also have a condition. He said, what's the condition? Then Ved Vyasji said, you should not write without understanding. So when I will say something, you write, but don't just write. Understand first and then write, which means that Ved Vyasji is very clever. Well, of course, Lord Ganesha is very clever and very fast, but Ved Vyasji put the condition so he can say some difficult verses, and then Lord Ganesha will take time, and then Ved Vyasji can take a sip of water, take a breath, and then think of what he's going to say next. So see, this is how great student and teachers interact. They complement each other. They help each other for a common goal to get further in a spiritual path. Hence, we will see in all the Vedic. So Ganesha, Lord Ganesha didn't only write Bhagavad Gita. He actually wrote everything. Ved Vyasji did all the Vedas, Upanishad, Puranas, Mahakavyas, all of them. And Lord Ganesha wrote everything. So that's why we will see sometimes in between we have very difficult verses. Some verses where we have multiple meanings. And why? Because Ved Vyasji wanted to give some time to Lord Ganesha to think and then write. Right? So he can also have some rest. But as it says, composed around 5,005 years ago by Maharishi Vyasa Deva. We call him Ved Vyasa because he compiled the Vedas. And well, it says 5,000. It's nearly 5,500 years. And that's the time when Kali Yuga started. So this Yuga, now, anyone who remind us how many different Yugas we have? We have 4 Yugas. Oh, if you unmute yourself, I think you know them.
Kali Yuga.
Yes? One more.
And
There are 4.
Dwapar Yuga.
Dwapar Yuga. Dwapar is 2. We have 3 as well, called Treta. And the very first one, very first one is Satya Yuga. Satya Yuga. Yes. Great. So Satya Yuga, then
Treta Yuga
Dwapar Yuga, and then Kali Yuga.
and Kali Yuga.
And Kali Yuga. And we will see later why the Treta Yuga is called Treta. What's 3 about it? Why Dwapar Yuga is called Dwapar? What's 2 about it? Or maybe one of you can take this as a homework. And next time when the session will come next week, please come along and enlighten all of us. Share the wisdom. And that's how it should be, right? We should share the knowledge because each one of us is unique. We all have Krishna in our heart and Krishna guides us. So we all have some knowledge we can learn from each other. We could become each other's Siksha Guru. So we should help each other to progress further. It's like when the students are there together, reading in the group. They understand each other. They clarify each other's doubts. So everyone will get benefit. And that's the whole idea for us. Hare Krishna. So Ved Vyasji put together all the Shastras, and one of the Mahakavya was Mahabharata. In Mahabharata, a lot of things happened, and we will see in the next slide all these things, some of those things. And then out of that, one of the most important thing is Bhagavad Gita, right? Bhagavad Gita appeared as an episode of Mahabharata, which meant episode is like a part of it, like a short part. It started at one point, it ended at one point. That's what Bhagavad Gita is. So Bhagavad Gita is part of Mahabharata. And then it's a great philosophical and religious dialogue just before the war. So the war was about to begin and war did happen. So Krishna did not stop the war. Krishna does not want to intervene. Krishna gives the guidance. And Krishna says, it's up to you now what you want to do. So Krishna gave all the Bhagavad Gita to Arjun. And at the end, Krishna said to Arjun, Arjun, what would you like to do now? So Krishna did not force. And this is what the parents do. Parents give the guidance to children because parents cannot make all the decisions for the children for rest of their life. Parents can make some decisions for the children as long as children are dependent on them, right? One day the kids will grow up, they will become independent, they will go out in the society. They might travel overseas, right? They are out of the shelter of the parents. Thank you for your thumbs up. So,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. What will happen? What will help those children? The guidance, the wisdom their parents have given when the children were there with the parents at that time. That wisdom will stay with them. That culture will stay with them. The wisdom these children will take within their heart wherever they will go. Doesn't really matter. Wherever they will go. So it's like a fire, right? If it's my fire and if somebody will borrow the fire, I'm not going to get sad that this fire is going away and this fire will die. No, fire will always give the heat wherever it will go. And that's why it's called Sanatan Dharma. The only thing is we need to realize it. We are so engrossed in material sense gratification, enjoying ourselves materially, that we forget that we are a spiritual being. And the role we need to play here is a spiritual rather than material. But we will see. So what happens in Bhagavad Gita? Krishna is going to speak. And who is Krishna? Krishna will tell Arjun. And then Krishna in chapter 11 will show Arjun, who am I? Right? That I'm the father of everything. Everything comes from me. And then Arjun will listen. And then Arjun is going to ask a lot more questions from Krishna. Again and again, you will see, like if you would like to learn Bhagavad Gita shlokas or anything, like a formula in science or in maths, how do we learn? By repetitive. We want to listen it again and again and again and again. Right? And this is what we are going to do in Bhagavad Gita. This is what happens in Bhagavad Gita. There are some few points which Krishna will repeat again and again to Arjun. Why? Because sometimes in one, we don't understand. Maybe we understand, but we forget again. So Krishna will keep reminding us, right? So this is the Mahabharata story, Mahabharata history, which we will start. But because we only have 6 minutes left in this session, I would like to open for any feedback. I would like to open for any questions. And while you guys are thinking, I'd just like to summarize what we have done today. It was the very first session today. So again, I would like to thank you, everyone. Because of you, because of the request of some of you, we could start these sessions. And with the mercy of Lord Krishna, hopefully we will continue these sessions online. And going forward, we are going to do these sessions, again, Krishna willing, hybrid as well. So there will be some people sitting. Currently, Prabhuji is there with me, but a lot of us could come together and we can have hybrid session, which means some of the devotees will be online, but there will be some devotees in person as well. So whichever way we can do, because both in person and online, both have their own benefits, right? So we have seen today the background, the settings, and then we will see Mahabharata background. Yes, please, you got your hands up. I would love to hear from you. Thank you. Please. Hare
I would like to
Krishna.
give a feedback.
Please.
I enjoyed this class very much. It was kind of useful for me. I would like to attend every class of this.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so very much. And again, thanks to your parents that you do have so much within you that you are ready to receive it, listen it. Otherwise, maybe kids at your age, they would love to enjoy. But because in your previous birth, you have done some, and I will say a lot of pious activities that you are here today, and you do love to hear more about the spiritual. Hare Krishna. Yes, you would like to say a bit more? Please,
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Is there a class tomorrow?
There is a class tomorrow, but that class is on Shri Ishopnishad. But if you will join 11:30, tomorrow is 11:30. Feel free to join
11:30 to 12:30.
11:30 to 12:30 Saudi time.
Okay, I would like
Yes.
to attend it.
Yes, feel free. It will be a pleasure to have you. And that will be on the same link. And thank you so much for your presence. Hare Krishna. And Suresh
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Suresh Prabhuji, thank you so much for your feedback. I'm glad I could do the justice to the service. And it happens because of all the blessings and the best wishes from all the parents and all the devotees. It's we call it Guru, Sadhu, and Shastras. So whatever we learn from the Guru, Shishya, disciple succession, whatever we have heard from our gurus, from our shastras, we love to share with each other. And I'm sure you all, there are 14 devotees here, and each one of you have so much knowledge, so much wisdom. Feel free. It would be great to hear from you. It's a much more interactive session, and we are going to share a lot more stories. And then after setting the scenes, after the introduction, we'll start from Bhagavad Gita, verse 1, and then we will go. And it's very thematic. The way it will go, it will help us to remember Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 1, what happened? Chapter 2, what happened? Chapter 3. So I can say chapter 1 is the beginning. Chapter 2 is the whole summary. Chapter 3 is Karma Yoga. Chapter 4 is Transcendental. Chapter 5 is how we combine chapter 3 and 4 together. Chapter 6, if we see, that's the yoga. Dhyana yoga, we call an Ashtanga yoga in it. From chapter 7 to chapter 12, we have the devotional. Chapter 13 to chapter 18, we have Jnana yoga. So if this way, if we learn, it's very easy to remember, it's very easy to recall. And the whole idea of remember and recalling is so we can implement the knowledge and the wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita in our day-to-day life. When somebody will call us and say, would you like to come for this? Bhagavad Gita will help us to make the decision. Do we want to go left or do we want to go to right? Do we want to read this Bhagavad Gita, this book, or do we want to read that book? Do we want to become friends from these devotees, or do we want to become friends from these material people? Right? So Bhagavad Gita will help us in each and every decision we will make. So we still have few more seconds left. If anyone would like to give any more feedback and any suggestion, I'm open. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I seek your blessings for the future sessions as well, your presence, and feel free. I'm sure there are many more devotees out there who would love to be part of it. And as I said, we do Shri Ishopnishad tomorrow, 11:30 to 12:30 on this link. Feel free to join that as well. And it will be a pleasure to have you, pleasure to serve you.
Thank you, Varun.
Hare Krishna. If no, please, Prabhuji, please.
Yeah, it is a really thought-provoking session and good. Many times many times we are listening this from many Prabhus, and from your words we learn something new. And hope next week many children will join. Thank you very much
Hare,
for it.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for your feedback, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Indeed, it's for both children and adults, because when we are learning, we all are children. So I'm learning. I'm doing my courses as well. So we should always learn, and whatever we learn, we should share. So thank you so much for the feedback, Prabhuji. Look forward to see each and every one of you and many more next Friday for the continuation of Bhagavad Gita at the same time. And my Danvat pranams to everyone. With that, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gurudev Maharaj ki jai, jai jai Shri Radhe. Hare
Shri Radha.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Bye.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. How are you doing? Hare Krishna.
I'm good. आप कैसे हो?
बहुत अच्छे जी. Thank you so much.